Hey everybody, this is Champion Trader Kevin Davey, and today I'm going to talk about how I used AI to help me create some nice algo entries. So let's get to it. Before we get started, if you haven't signed up for my free algo strategy, now's the time to do so. Hit the QR code or enter the link you see at the bottom, or in the description you'll find a link. So in today's video, I'm going to have AI help me create some algo entries. And these are entries that work, and when I say that, I know you've probably watched a bunch of other videos out there that show you these magic indicators. Oh, you just have to use this, and maybe they show a chart where it looks really good for one or two trades, or maybe even a couple trades. But, that really doesn't tell the whole story. And that's what I'm doing different in this video. I'm going to give you specific markets and bar sizes where these entries work. And these entries were tested over a wide range of input parameters over the last 5 years. So there's a lot to this that makes it more than just looking at one chart and getting a couple examples of where it works, because those are easy to find. It's harder to find something that works over a long period of time. Okay, so I test a whole bunch of entries: trend, counter trend, patterns, indicators. I tried them as stop and reverse, which either means you're long or you're short, and the signals just switch from long to short. And I also tested after exiting after a certain number of bars, in this case after 20 bars. Sometimes you'll get some different results with that, so I'll show both of those. I did 44 different futures markets, 4 different bar sizes, and I just did a 5-year test for the initial testing up until the end of 2024. So since we're into 2025 already, that leaves some time where you can evaluate how they did in real time. Altogether, I ran over 1 million back tests to get some of these entries. How did I do it so quickly? Well, I used some software. It's called Multi-Walk, works with TradeStation, and it really makes the testing a lot faster. And it's available, but only to students of my course. Okay, so realize with these entries, they're not fully developed strategies. They're just entries. Okay, except in the case when I do the exit after 20 bars. But they can be a good starting point in your own strategy building, and that's kind of why I'm showing you them. And when you look at my process for building strategies, what I'm doing here is showing the results of what I call limited feasibility testing, and I just modified it by adding a few years to it. So the trading idea, the step before, I'm going to get with the help of AI, and then the testing I'm doing myself, and then I'm going to show you the results of that. Okay, so here's what I asked ChatGPT. I said, please give me 10 technical based algo entries which are rare, relatively unknown, and unique, and give it to me in TradeStation easy language. So ChatGPT thought for a little bit, and here's what it said. Here you go. And ChatGPT can kind of be interesting, especially to give you some ones you hadn't thought of before. So here's one. ChatGPT calls it a volume-weighted reversal, and it said the concept: if the price moves significantly against the VWAP but then snaps back, it may indicate a reversal. Okay, so I tried not to judge these. I said, well, hey, I'm going to test them, see how they work. And there's a few problems with this particular code and just the whole idea. For instance, there is no VWAP function built into TradeStation, so I had to find a function out there that sort of worked like one. And, it used in its code the ATR, but ATR isn't a function. It's called average true range in TradeStation, with the average being abbreviated. And there was some logic problems I had to overcome with the close relative to that VWAP number. So there were some issues that with just the code. Then there was also an issue where there was nothing really to optimize, which I wanted to run some walk forward testing with this. And to do that, you have to have at least one variable that you're going to optimize. So I did some modifications to it and came up with this code. And there's two versions. Version 1 is just stop and reverse, so the area in the yellow box is taken out. And version 2 included that code in there. Okay, so it's just two versions with just a simple code change. Okay, so just looking at what the entries look like, you can see it takes a bunch of trades, and in this case it's always long or short. Pretty straightforward. I believe here it exited after 20 bars and then immediately re-entered the short. So this was probably that second version with that exit after a certain number of bars in it. I used 7 values of the average true range length as the variable I was optimizing. So that means there were 7 iterations in each for each combination of bar size and market. And my criteria was that a majority of those results over the 5 years should have a profit to be successful. And that's kind of a robustness test to say, well, hey, it works if you use different values of that average true range. Then that's saying it could be robust. It's just one hurdle in the normal tests I run, but it's a pretty decent hurdle. So if it works here, it gives me confidence that maybe it's worth testing a little further. So here are the results from 2020 to 2024 with version 1. And version 1 again was the one with stop and reverse. And what you see going down are all the markets it worked in. Across are the bar sizes. So I actually used more than 4 bar sizes that I mentioned earlier. There were 4. Actually, it looks like there's 7 or so. And you can see, for example, rough rice. It works in 5 different bar sizes. And then down at the bottom, natural gas only worked with 240-minute bars. But a lot of them work in a couple different bar sizes. And overall, 37 of the 44 markets had profit where it looked good. And 240 minutes, for some reason, seemed the best. So that would be like a 4-hour bar. Version 2 sort of looked a little similar, but the best ones change. And this one only works in 34 markets. But you get a sense that it works in multiple different markets, which is a good thing to see in an entry. I mean, it doesn't need to be a requirement that it must work in all these markets, but it's kind of nice to see. The big thing here is more testing is required. That's just a first shot test. It says, hey, there's some merit to those entries. Maybe they're worth doing, but you probably want to look at some of these other tests that I normally run. Exit test, entry edge test, walk forward test, Monte Carlo, live evaluation. There's a lot more that you can do with it. So this is just a start, kind of get you on the right track. So you could use that, try it out. And remember, it's all about process. Entries are important, but the process is what's really important. So the entries, yeah, they're important. Exits are important too. But it's the process of strategy building, that you do the right steps to make sure you don't curve fit or overfit. That's what's really important here. And that's the true key to algo trading success. My process, I call the strategy factory, and it's just a step-by-step process to take you from your goals to a finished strategy. All right, can you do that yourself? Do you have to follow what I do? No, you can do it yourself. Just make sure you test it on a lot of strategies and that you run it in real time and verify that it works. And I've kind of laid out the steps for you here to do that, especially if it doesn't work. Chances are your first attempt won't work. Then you should probably go back, test a whole bunch more strategies. Watch them in real time for a while. And eventually, hopefully you'll find something that works. Well, I hope this video helped you. I hope you liked that entry. If you have questions or comments, please just let me know. Thanks for watching. Well, if you'd like more information on algo trading, hit the QR code. It'll take you to Amazon where you can look at my 5 trading books.